Yes, that is Disney World behind me. Well, it's wallpaper. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. I saw this job listing come through from CBR, which is a comic and news website looking to hire a games critic. And yeah, sure, outlets hire people all the time. No big deal. Until you see some of the stipulations and expectations from who they're hiring and how they don't want you just to review one game a week. They don't want you to review 2 games a week. This outlet is looking to hire someone as a freelance journalist to write 3 video game reviews weekly. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full exhaustive article talking about this insane stipulation from CBR. Looking to hire someone specifically in the video games industry to write a minimum of 3 game reviews per week, with each review being at least 1,400 words long. Now, take it from someone who runs their own website, has their own YouTube channel, and writes plenty of words all the time. Like, I can talk about stuff that I like and give my take on stuff and see a situation and be like, yeah, here's why this is a good thing or a bad thing or whatever, or even play a game over the course of a couple months and say, hey, I want to talk about my thoughts on this game. Sure. But it's turned into a situation where we can't just do that anymore if you want to work in the games industry. You need to approach the game like a job. Instead of having fun with what you're talking about, instead of having fun with what you do, you have to approach it like, okay, what did I like about this game? What did I not like about this game? And just put it out there because it's work. And honestly, writing a review for a video game should feel like anything but work. Like, it should be something out of passion, out of fun, which in a weird way is exactly why traditional games journalism is a dying breed. It's entered a death spiral. What's happening right now is proof of that. Let's dive into this a little bit more. It is a paid freelance remote position, even though CBR is located in New York. And they said, if you're an experienced writer with a finger on the pulse of the gaming world, CBR wants you to join its award-winning writing team. CBR is the oldest and most respected comic book culture website in the world, which maybe it is. I think I might have heard of CBR in passing, but to say it's the oldest and most respected, I don't know. Those are some pretty big words, but either way, they're going for an editorial team of people that are just machines, just outputting information, reviewing video games, which honestly, at the end of the day, is just not possible, not feasible to get a well-balanced view of a video game out weekly. Never mind 3 different video games. Even if you're going to go to the length of saying, well, what if they're just indie games, basic games where you're just going to talk about those? Sure, I guess. But if a game is an indie game that can be like talked about and looked at briefly, no one needs to look at a review of that anyway. It's more about the in-depth games people are looking for information on from them. And that's exactly why people have been turning to YouTubers. Now, looking at the qualifications, they're fairly standard. Like, hey, you gotta like video games and be familiar with them and understand the English language and be comfortable working virtually. Like, nothing really stands out as far as the qualifications for the job. But when it gets into the responsibilities, that's when this thing absolutely goes insane. Like, whoever wrote this is not just a complete heavily on the spectrum, but it's someone that's like so out of touch with reality that a human being could not have done this. Like, they would have had to have used like ChatGPT to put these responsibilities together. Keep up to date with video game releases. Pretty straightforward. Receive review codes to play through new games to completion. Play through new games to completion is the most generic verbiage I've ever heard. There are games that are coming out now that are like 85 hours, 105 hours, 250 plus hours. Like, there's some games that are more hours in a week. How could you play through it in completion 3 times over and get reviews out? Who wrote this? Write a minimum of 3 reviews, 1,400 words per week in CBR's house style, following the requisite training. Reviews will be assigned based on each writer's expertise and CBR's needs. This will include fact-checking, formatting, linking, and image sourcing. Accept and apply any and all feedback received by the editorial team. Communicate openly and actively with the editorial team. Basically, you would be the whipping boy or whipping girl of this organization, where they say, hey, here's what you're going to be doing. We don't really care if you like it or not. We don't know what your expertise is. We don't know anything about anything, but hey, we got these game codes out there. They're popular, and in order to stay in the know with all the outlets that are talking about these games, we also need to be talking about them, which again, turns it into a manufactured machine. It's outputting information instead of a passion, a drive, where people do this out of the love of their heart, like what people do YouTube for. Why YouTube has been eating the lunch of these game journalists for what seems like the better part of the past over a decade now. It's only picked up speed as time has gone on. The shift is not just about a preference for video over text either. It's more about seeking content that respects the games and the gaming experience overall. Traditional gaming journalism is moving further away from this, with models like CBR's latest embarrassing job offer leading the charge towards a less engaged, more superficial future. Even some established journalists I've seen on Twitter are taking issue with this. And it's very rare for me, especially, to be in lockstep with gaming journalists. But this is one thing that I think we all can agree on. Forcing an output of information on a weekly agenda status to get 3 articles out a week, not just talking about a game, not just giving, feelings or thoughts about a situation, but this is game reviews. And it says, play them through to completion, and then write at least 1,400 words reviewing them. It's going to be the most garbage. People are going to find the easiest way out. It's going to become the lowest common denominator. They're going to try to find ChatGPT. They're going to try to start pulling Philip Musins and copying other people's work. They're going to do anything but the actual work, because the output required from this job is more than humanly possible. And I'm sure you could potentially find maybe 3 games out there that someone could maybe find time to play in a week all the way through completion here and there. I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule, but overwhelmingly, by and large, that would be like 1 week out of 52 weeks, you might find 3 games where you can do that. I don't know how. This is literally setting someone up not just for failure, but going to show that the entire games journalism industry is in complete, full self-destruct mode right now. They are hiring people desperately trying to get into the game industry, don't know how to talk to a camera, don't want to start a YouTube channel, but just want, for whatever reason, to be able to say they work in the games industry. And that's how we start getting horrific journalists that keep coming down the pipe. It's like, if we could just find people that are able to do this with a passion and follow their dreams and do what they want to talk about and do what they want to do, then none of this would be an issue, which again points right back to YouTubers and why they're eating these journalists' lunch. Snapple said, not sure how the game journal industry works, but why isn't the company providing the necessary equipment to do their job? My first big red flag about this is, even if I had access to my systems, I'd never use my own resources for a company to generate revenue. Very cheap, in my opinion. And Yanu said, I remember a time when people who played and liked games wrote about the games. Audra said, I'd love to try my hand at writing articles, but throwing in with their lot feels slimy. And the general sentiment from the entire community seems to be in lockstep with this. I'm saying even traditional games journalists and media out there, people that I have traditionally not agreed with on most, if all, of their stances in the past, are taking the same approach that I am with this. They're saying, this is not even legitimately possible. This is not feasible. What their expectations are set here. They are literally setting people up to fail. Anyways, if you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the article that I wrote. I'm not getting paid by a company. I'm doing this out of the passion, the love of video games, which is, I feel, the way this should be. If you guys appreciate what I'm doing, check out smashjt.com. Potentially, if you really appreciate what I'm doing, consider hitting that join button. I would really, really appreciate it. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. You stay smashing.
Smash it,